Hey everyone, this is going to be your last video for your workshop today. I'm talking to a number of you on Slack right now, so you just might hear some Slack noises. Okay, so what I've started to do now is I'm going to send you guys this starter file, and I want to see what you can do with it, and I want to see like how many different for loops you can mix in, and just kind of get comfortable working with these groups of data modulators, okay? So I'm going to send you this starter file. In the starter file, I want to keep this short, but I just want to explain what's going on here, okay? So you can use all of these methods and functions interchangeably. So it's on you. Please, please, please make sure that you look up what these mathy functions are. So for instance, sine wave, right? Well, here I am at 2 pi. So 2 pi is going to and pi and any of these is going to help you make, they're mathematical constructs that result in the ratio of a circumference of a circle. It works really well with sine and cosine. All right, we're going to also use, sine, which renders out these kind of sine waves. All right, so we're going to use that to sort of generate how your animations are going to move. Okay, so let's really quick take a look at this file here. All right, so this is a for loop with 8 shapes, and because of the way that I've modulated the data, I just have like a really simple background script in here. So because of the way that I've modulated the data, I get these kind of really interesting like mandala patterns. So let's just take a look at the code and how this is going. You can do as many of these as you want, for loops inside of for loops with different shapes, and you'll come up with some like really interesting, fun patterns, okay? So let's head on over here. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is just this set of data modulators here, okay? So these are my variables. By the end of this little short tutorial, we'll have many more of these, but let's just take a look at what's going on here. Okay, so cosine, you can look up the parameters for cosine. It accepts one parameter. We can use any of these interchangeably. Okay, so sine, cosine, tan, and noise. These are all like mathematical functions that sort of like wrap around themselves, so they'll create like this sort of in and out animation. And noise is going to be a really specific kind of like random generator. It's a little smoother than your like random generator. It's a Perlin noise. You can Google that if you want. All right, so what we have here is we have a frame count. So your frame count is going to be 30 frames per second on the web. So we can use that because that's always updating. That's a number that is constantly updating. So what we'll do is we'll say we want to take the cosine of the frame rate times 0.01 plus 20. Okay, so let's say that our frame rate is at 20, right? So, if we do 20 times 0.01, we get 0.2. And then if we do plus 20, that gives us a data point of 20.2, okay? Because what we want to do is we want to keep our values low so that we start low and then we continue on the modulation. So for instance, this frame count is going to go from 0 to 30 and then start back again. Okay, so that's how we get, this is just going to compile into a moving number. It's not that important that you know like exactly what cosine or exactly what sine does. You'll be able to literally see it when we run it, okay? So like I said before, you can swap any of these methods out for sine, cosine, tan, noise. They all accept one parameter and they'll all modulate out into a moving variable. Okay, so that's what we're getting here. We're getting moving variables. I have moving variables for an angle. I have moving variables for how I'm going to sort of translate the shapes, because remember we use translate to sort of generate that for loop. And then I have one for the size of the actual shape. So this is going to be the angle that it rotates around. This is going to work with the translate for that set for loop, and this is going to change the size. Okay, so let's undo this real quick and let's run it just so you can see what's going on. So the reason that I have that translate there, whoops, sorry y'all. The reason that I have the translate here before the for loop is because I want to place it in the middle of my my workable area, which is just the browser. So let's open this up. Okay, so I have this nice pattern here. I don't think I saved, so let's refresh. So if I don't have that, it's going to go up in the corner, which is totally fine. You can place this wherever you want. So if you want to have like one mandala over here, one mandala over here, you can just call that translate function. So, you know, we could do like width divided by 3, or, you know, you can give it a really specific space to go. So this will now be over here more. So you can have as many of these as you like, all right? So let's, what I'll show you how to do now is I'll show you how to, based off of the values that I have in here, we're going to build up another for loop, okay? So let's work with another for loop and another shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this set of variables, all right? I'll paste it here. Let's change this to angle 2. Let's change this to tx2 and size 2. All right, and I'm going to change these variables just a bit. So for this one, let's try a pi times the noise. Again, this will render down into one moving variable. And we'll do a few different noise here. And you can totally change these. I would say like just mess with it. See how it looks, see what you like, and then let's do a sign here. Again, you can swap any of these out for each other, and let's call, I don't know, let's say like 50 here, and we'll just change some of these values as well, just so we have some difference here. So just play with it, build it up, and then we're going to put a for loop inside of this for loop, okay? But we are going to put our for loop inside of this pop push pair so that we can kind of have some more interesting animations. So I'll just start out with this one, and I'll put this inside. So before the pop is finished, put this here. All right, and I'm going to change this. So let's do y, just like literally another number. Okay, so then in here I'm going to call my push and my pop first. All right, and then inside of here, I'm going to pretty much put everything that I have up here, but maybe I'll do a couple different shapes, okay? So let's do my translate, and we're going to do the, we'll do tx2 by 0. All right, and let's call our rotate. So we'll do almost, and maybe we'll change the value a little bit here. So let's say, I don't know, let's say 6 here. And again, just play with this. See what different things you get. All right, so we'll do our rotate here. Okay, and in rotate we're going to do our angle 2. We'll do angle 2. And then we'll do, let's do 2 pi. All right, and then we'll do times, sorry, I'm messing this up. So we need to connect all these because we only need one value for rotate, right? So let's do times, so we need to modulate our actual for loop. So I'm not using j, I'm using y. And let's do divided by 6, because that's going to have a relationship to what we're doing with our for loop. All right, and what else do we need? And then we got our translate, we got our rotate, and then we need another shape. So let's do an ellipse. Okay, and then inside of our ellipse, we will do, we can mix in any of these other variables that we want. So let's try a tx2, and let's try a 0, and a size 2, and then we'll do size 2 again. Okay, and then let's also give this, a fill, just so we can kind of see what we're doing. And we just, want it to have its own, like, qualities. So let's give it a fill of, we'll give it a fill of white. But let's give it a little bit of transparency. So you could do one more parameter here and get transparency, and that also works from 0 to 255. So let's do like 100. And let's just change our background to a reddish color, just so we have something solid to look at this with. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so now we have this really kind of interesting pattern. If we want to speed it up, what we can do is we can call our frame rate here, and we can, I don't know, make it 60. And that'll speed everything up a bit. And then again, what we can do is, you can have as many for loop pairs as you want. You can have, so for instance, one of the things that you can do here is we can kind of just copy this whole for loop section here. All right, you can paste it here, you can change your variables, you can have as many for loops as you want inside of different for loops. Let's do maybe another ellipse here. Let's give it a different fill. Make this one kind of yellow. All right, and then maybe so I'm just mixing in my data points here, just to see like what kind of changes I can get. Let's do tx on this one too. And then, we can do like size 2 times 2, because we just want like different expressions of data. So let's see what we get with this one. And then maybe let's give this one also like a different stroke. Stroke just gets a color as well. You can look this up. All right, so now we have something pretty weird going on. And so what's happening with this is because we have this for loop is actually inheriting the rotations and some of the variables from inside of this for loop. So that's why this one's able to generate many more shapes, and it has like some more interesting movement to it. So you can put as many for loops inside of for loops as you want. Let's give this one a little bit of transparency. I think this looks really cool if we do transparency. And while we're here, let's do one more set of for loops. So let's put this one inside of this push pop matrix. And let's change our variable here. Let's do this one 10. And then I'll just go ahead and copy. I'm going to copy this whole block here just to get started. And you can totally go and make a whole nother set of data modulation variables for this one. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. You could just copy and paste this, change some of these. But for now, I'm just going to mix in some of the data points that I have. So we'll do y divided by 10. And then let's make sure that we have a pop down here, because you can't use a push without matching pop. All right, we do size 1 on this one, and do maybe have CX here. Is it CX? Nope, there's TX. And let's actually, let's try that here this time. Okay. And we'll do angle 1 for this one. All right, so let's see, and then let's maybe do a different fill. So again, you can be smarter about your fills and more deliberate with your choices. All right. I just want to get these all situated in the same place. All right, so you can just keep going and keep going and keep going and have as many of these pairs as you want. You can even have like separate for loops. You know, you could start a for loop like here, again, outside of draw, if you want like something that's really, you know, really detailed. And let's just go ahead and put this right in the middle. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. All right, so let's make this one a little bit transparent just so we can see what's going on. Let's see, we have 100 here, so let's make it like 200. Or, you know, we could change this to a stroke and maybe say no fill. All right. And we'll just keep this full opacity. So let's see what we got. Okay, cool. So if you just keep going with this, just trying different things out, rendering out different things, trying different data points, maybe you have a bunch of different sets of these, you'll get some really, really interesting patterns to work with. And one of the things that I'd like to show you before I sign off here is, you know, once you get coding this way, go back and start making some changes. You know, see like, okay, well, what happens when I change this to sine, and what happens when I change everything down here to sine as well, or cosine, or tan. You know, tan does some like really cool zooming in stuff. So, you know, you can render this out, watch it, see how it moves, and then when you pull in this other data set, like see how it makes everything kind of move a little bit differently. All right, so I'm going to send you that starter code. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, bye.